Okay, good afternoon to you all. I am Kapil Oberoi, scientist working in the Geoinformatics department of IERS. Today we'll be starting with the demonstration on the QGIS software. This is session 1, where I will be briefing you about the introduction to the QGIS and briefly covering the topics like overview of QGIS, how to add GIS layers, talking a little bit about the attribute table, the identifier tool, how to do the layer symbology, and finally how to compose a map using the QGIS software. Now talking about QGIS, its URL is qgis.org. You can please visit this site. Also to tell you that in the FTP we have also provided the software along with the user manual that you can please try to install in your place and try to use it. And in case of any trouble regarding installation other, you please come back to and please tell it to our EduSet team who will convey to us. Regarding QGIS, it is a user-friendly open source GIS software and it is licensed under the GNU General Public License, which is a very liberal license. This license covers basically that even if the derived product out of from this generated from using QGIS will also be available on the public domain, it cannot be used make as a proprietary. So it is a very liberal license. You are aware of the open source software. The major advantage of open source is there is no license fee, there is no restriction on redistribution. You can understand you can download the source code, you can understand it, you can modify it, and again you can redistribute to your colleagues without any licensing or conflict issues. QGIS is also the official project of the OSCO Foundation. Other important thing is runs on all the major platforms. If you talk about Windows, Linux, or even for the Android, it is available, but still in the beta phase. But it is available on all the major Linux and Windows platforms. It is quite user friendly, have a very good GUI, and provides all the common functionality that is to be desired in a typical GIS software. It supports various raster and vector format along with support for the spatial databases like Postgres, Spatialite it is also supporting. A little bit history about QGIS. It was started way back in 2002. So if you see that it's quite a mature product. It has been in the industry for quite a long time. And other good thing about this quantum GIS is there's a lot of good documentation also available. So that because generally there is a hindrance in using any open source product because people generally feel that there is hardly any documentation available for this kind of a software, and if they get stuck it will be very difficult for them to resolve their issues. But we are also using here quantum GIS in our regular activities at IERS. So this is quite a mature product, has a good documentation. Even if you see there is a book also available in the market on the quantum GIS. The documentation is really good. If you can just follow it, if you face any problem, there is a community also which is very steadfast in whatever queries you put, you get the reply very soon. The latest release, if you see, is 2.10 version. It's called as PISA. It is released in 26th of June this year. The PISA was named due to the host city for one of their developer meets which happened in March 2010. Now talking about the development of QGIS, it is using Qt as a toolkit for providing the graphic user interface, and mainly it is developed in C++ language. Again, as I said, why quantum GIS? As I mentioned earlier, it is a free and open source software. There is no recurring fees. There is no licensing issues, and free is mean as a liberty. It is a freedom to use it and freedom to modify it, freedom to distribute among your friends. You can download the source code, you can enhance the software, and again redistribute to your friend without any licensing or any restriction. Other good thing, as I mentioned earlier, was QGIS is quite a stable product. It has been constantly developing. It's never stagnates. If you see, every 4 months they are coming with a new version, and even the release of the next version is also available on their website. They pronounce well in advance when they are going to release the next version. Other good thing is it is an extensive help and documentation is available. So unlike other software where the documentation is lacking, this software has very good documentation available. Other good thing is cross-platform. So even if you want to work on Linux or maybe in Windows, you can use it without any problem. Now, talking about the QGIS feature, now there are two things to consider in quantum GIS. One is there is a something called the core feature, and the rest of it supports through the concept of plugins, which means you add something to the main core and then you add the functionality of QGIS. So QGIS, as I said, is one is a core features, and all the other things are provided through the concept of plugins, which are generally community driven. Now, talking about it can allows you to view the data. You can view the raster and vector in different formats. All the GDAL and OGR supported format it supports. Even support, as I mentioned earlier, the spatial databases like PostGIS, Spatialite, MS SQL Server, etc. And even it support the OGR supported vector format like shapefile, GML, mapinfo, etc. Talking about the raster, all the GDAL supported format it support. If you talk about GeoTIFF, ARC Infogrid, and etc. Other things is it also provides support for the integration with the GRASS. So you can use GRASS as a you can use QGIS as a front end and use all the functionality of GRASS. If you install the Windows version of QGIS, the GRASS also comes pre-installed along with it. Other good thing about QGIS is you can also use it as a OGC, WMS and WFS client for connecting to different OGC specified compliant services. Other important thing is it can also allow interaction with the OpenStreet data. So using there's a one software plugin is available through which you can also download the data from the OpenStreetMap right within sitting within the QGIS interface itself. I have slide on that. We'll discuss on that slide. Now, other things is it has lots of components and has a very good graphical user interface. And it has there are two utilities to QGIS. One is a QGIS desktop once you install. Another is a QGIS browser, which is just like if I take an analogy of a ISRI software. So your ArcMap is like QGIS desktop, and ArcCatalog is like your QGIS browser, where you can browse through different data sets. You can view the metadata and then check the different file, make a copy of that, and so on. You can do the file management using QGIS browser. It supports on the fly reprojection. There is a DB manager plugin which allows you to interact with the database, all the spatial database. It has an overview panel. It also have a spatial bookmarking capabilities, even annotation tools it has got. Then other typical GIS features of identifiers, selecting features, labeling. You can change the raster and vector symbology, and even you can compose your layout so that to put in your reports and publication, all the layout aspect of not putting north arrow or the scale bar or the grids can also be put. Sorry. Now, talking about the editing tools available in QGIS, QGIS has supports provides the digitizing all the major tools is available. Even you can edit the shape files. It also provides you a georeferencer plugin kind of a thing. So this will be covered in the next session, where they will teach you how to use this plugin to do the georeferencing of any raster imagery. It also supports the import and export of a GPX format. It also this QGIS is supporting off the shelf, and also, as I mentioned earlier, it is supporting the visualization and editing of the OpenStreetMap map data right within using the QGIS software. And also it has tools for managing the vector attribute tables also. Talking about the analysis per se, so it supports all the spatial data analysis, whether it is based on the spatial databases or whether working with all the vector formats supported by OGR. All the raster and vector analysis, even data management and geometry manipulation operations are also possible in quantum GIS, in QGIS. And as I mentioned earlier, because of the integration with the GRASS, now you get the other functionality of GRASS that you can use readily using QGIS as a front end. Other important utility that has come in QGIS is the processing plugin, which provides basically a geoprocessing framework where you can call the native QGIS functionality as well as a third-party algorithm that you get it from GRASS or GDAL or the other supported algorithms. Other things, as I mentioned just previous, is that you can use QGIS as a client for WMS and WFS services that you can consume on over the internet or over the internet. Now, talking about the QGIS functionality per se, using the plugins as a concept. So QGIS use plugin for extending the functionalities. So it provides libraries, and even user can also create their own plugins using C++ and or Python. Talking about the plugins, so something is a core plugin and rest is the external plugins that you can also download to enhance the functionality of QGIS. So in this slide I have put some of the core plugins, which are coordinate capture, DB manager. This will use also this I use personally very much to interacting with the spatial database, firing queries, right, using QGIS as a front end. Then next is the event visualization. Events you can link your photograph with the images and you can visualize those. FT tool, georeferences, GPS tools, Oracle Spatial. Even you can use the CSW catalog service or web. Even the plugin is available. You can consume the catalog services. You can connect and view all the catalog services provided in a OGC compatible format. There's also processing framework. Even there is a support for network analysis through a concept of a road graph plugin. Even there is a spatial query plugin where you can perform the spatial query, not only the attribute query. You can even import and export data into a spatial database. There is also a plugin for topology checking of the shape files. Even you can perform zonal statistics. There is a plugin for that. And the others you can download through the official repository. You can visit and you can download the other plugins that are provided by the community. The good thing is there's a lot of good support from the community, and through plugin only the QGIS is being enhanced further. Now the QGIS also provide you the scripting interface, and the scripting language that is used is the Python. So using it you can also customize create your own workflows. You can customize and create your own application. The Python console is integrated into the QGIS window. Using this you can manipulate the various layers that are available in the QGIS environment, and you can also create a separate application using the QGIS functionalities. Now talking about the installation, so as I mentioned earlier, the QGIS is available for all the major platform, Windows or Linux. We have provided you with the Windows installation where it is available for both the 32-bit and the 64-bit. The URL is mentioned on this slide, qgis.org/en/site/for-users/download.html. So if you visit this link, you can download for Windows, for Linux and other things. So if you install the QGIS for Windows, a menu link will appear on your start menu, where you can click on the start menu QGIS and click on the QGIS desktop button to start your QGIS interface. As I mentioned earlier, QGIS has two different viewers. One is a QGIS desktop, other is a QGIS browser. Analogy as I given earlier is QGIS desktop is just like your ArcMap, and QGIS browser is like your catalog window. So using QGIS desktop you can create, edit, visualize, analyze and publish your geospatial information, whereas through QGIS browser you can only browse and preview your data, and you can also view the metadata. Both of the utilities comes when you install the QGIS software. Now talking about how the QGIS user interface looks like, so this is how the window looks like. On the first I am referring, this is a menu bar. If you see, this is the sets of toolbars. Now this will differ based on your UI and number of plugins you have enabled, or number of options that you have enabled or disabled. The third, this is your layer list or the browser panel. So there will browser list and layer panels are available on this. Even the QGIS browser is integrated. If you click on the browser, you can navigate view different files. You can drag and drop to this is the map canvas, the fourth button. The fifth is the sidebar toolbar. This is a new addition in the QGIS user interface. And sixth is a status bar, where you get the latitude, longitude, the coordinate information system, and also the scale related information you viewed on the below bar. Now talking about how to load the data into the QGIS. Now there are two options. You can use the shortcut menus available on the toolbar, or you can also use the menu options. So menu option is layer, add layer, and click on the add vector layer to add the vector layers. Or you can also click on the first button here, add vector layer, to add your vector layers. So by default the SHP, so once you click on this add vector layer option, this window will open, and there will be option of file, directory and other options. So you need to select the file, click on the browse option, and then navigate and select the particular file type, for example shape file or GML or GPX file, and you can directly open it and add it into your map canvas, which is the center path. Once your layer is added into the map canvas, you can change the symbology. So you can right click on the layer. I'm going back to the previous slide. So you can right click on this layer, click on properties, select the properties option from the right click menu. This layer properties window will open. Then you click on this style option and you can choose the categorical data, and then here I'm representing the India shapefile. So I have selected state as a name, as a field where all the information of states are available, and then I'm representing by different color by choosing a particular color lamp. And so you can see that all the different states are shown with the different colors. Other thing you can do, you can click on the label option and you can also choose of which field you want to select for labeling the files. And you can also again control which is the font, what will be the size, what will be the color of that caption. All thing you can again control using this layer properties window, which is the symbology and the style tabs. Now talking about the identify feature, so those who have worked on GIS will know this is a simple typical GIS feature where you click on the identifier button and then click on a particular feature. For example, I have clicked here on the Uttarakhand region and the window will open talking about the identifier feature window, and will show all the properties, all the attributes that are listed in that India shapefile in this case. So it will show you the name of the state, the area, the parameter, and other aspects of this which is attached to this attributes. Other thing I am showing through this window is you can see that on the top panel we have the typical GIS operations like panning, zoom to extent, zoom in, zoom out, refresh button, and this is your identifier button where you can click and get the information. This is for selecting the features based on your interactive selection and so on. Again, coming back to the layer properties windows, if you click on the field tabs, you can see all the attributes that are mentioned in that are stored in this India shapefile. The first, this red box here is showing that hidden. If you want, you can also hide a particular layer from the identifier window, so that only a particular suppose if you say only out of four fields, I only want three fields to be appear in the identifier window, so that you can control using this field option. Other option that is possible is you can also add a new field to it. For that you need to go to the editing mode, and then you can add a field by giving the name of the field, the type of the field. The type options that are available here are either it can be a number, or it can be text, or it can be a date type of field. The other things in this window, if you click on the join tab, it allows you the facility of joining the attribute table with some external data. Here I'm taking the example of the again India shapefile, where I have the information about the India states, and suppose I have got some data from the census of India. Where I've got the details regarding all the states and the different parameters from the census, like total population, male, female, male to female ratio, etc. So if I want to integrate this data into my data set, so what I can use this join feature command. I can, clicking on this join tab, I can use this plus green button, and then this new window will open where I need to provide the parameters for providing the joining aspect. So to join this table with the India shapefile, so I need to provide the common field. Those who have done database will know, if you have a primary and a foreign key concept, using this concept you can join the tables together. So here you need to select the layer you want to join to, the join field. So in this case will be the state name, and then the target field, which will be the same field name of the state in the Excel file. So once you join this and I click on the OK button, now the attribute table, if you see earlier, which has only 3-4 fields, now it has all the fields which is coming from this Excel file. So like this you can bring the data from external sources and join it to the shapefile, so to have much more meaningful information. Similarly, so this is attribute table can also be seen. So if you want to see the attribute table associated with the particular shapefile, so after loading the shapefile into the layer window, you can right click and select the option of the open attribute table. The same option is also available on the toolbar also. So you can either click on the toolbar icon of the attribute table, or you can right click the layer and select view attribute table. The other thing about in the attribute table is you can also perform the query. So if you want to perform a query, you need to select this E button, which is expression window. So if you select this expression window on the attribute table window, this select by expression window will be appearing. Then you can enter the expression. So or you can see all the operators like equal to, plus, minus, divide, or, and other operation brackets. Here I'm just taking a simple expression where I'm saying state equal to Uttarakhand. So if you select this and if you enter this expression state equal to Uttarakhand and you click on this select button, on the attribute window, if you again visit, you will see that only the Uttarakhand one attribute, one row is record of only Uttarakhand is being selected, and similarly on the map only Uttarakhand region will be highlighted in the yellow color. So like this you can also do an attribute based query using this select by expression window. Other thing that you can do is you can also click on this field calculator button, which is available in the attribute window and also in the layer properties window, and can perform various kind of calculation. For example, suppose in this window I'm trying to show you that you can also create a new field, for example population density, where I'm taking the census information of the population, dividing by the area of that area field from the attribute table. So you can compute a new derived information in this case, which is the population density. So you can create a new field called population density, specify the type. In this case it will be a decimal, and you can specify how many width it should be and how many decimal places it should have. So using this you can do different kind of field based calculations. Even if you want, you can also, if you want to compute the area, again you can do the geometry based operation. You can also do, if you are interested to get the latitude, if you have a point field, you want to extract the latitude longitude, again you can use the field calculator and select the geometry aspect and then extract the latitude longitude of the point also. Other window is the query window. It is available from the layer menu. If you click on the query button, now this window, if you see in the compared to earlier query by expression, it has other expressions also, which was not available in that window. So it is, you can have not only the relational operator, but you can also have the logical operators of and, or, and not. So using this you can make a complex expression and then again doing your attribute based queries. So it has a like and I like operator, so you can do a pattern based search also. Now in this slide I want to show that it is also possible that you can export the result of some calculation and store the result in a new file also. For example, this is a point layer. If you have selected few layers based on some parameter and want to export them as a new layer, so you can right click, save layer as, and you can export them as a new file. So you can create a subset of the file. You can also do, you can define the projection, or it will automatically pick the projection on the existing based on the existing layer. So it is possible to create a subset of the layer, or the result of the operation can be saved to a external temporary layer, or it can be a permanent layer. Now other layers you can also open base using the same functionalities. You can click on layer, add layer button. In this case I'm showing an example of a binary file, so you have to click on the directory option to select it. But if you click on the file option, then all the OGR supported file formats you can load into the QGIS canvas. The other thing you can also do is, suppose you have a CSV file which contains the place name and latitude, longitude, and so on. So in this, if you have a CSV file and you want to convert into equivalent point file, then you can use this delimited text file option. So go to the layer, add delimited text file, select the file, the CSV file which contains all the parameters, specify the which field contains the longitude and the latitude, then it will automatically convert into this point layer, and then you can save it as a permanent file using the option just mentioned earlier. So in this slide I want to just inform that it is also possible to convert a CSV file which contains a longitude and latitude, and you can convert it into a point file. So for example, you have gone to the field and collected some GPS points. You organize in Excel file and you can save it as a CSV, and then you can bring it into the QGIS and convert into the equivalent point layer. Other thing as I mentioned earlier is that QGIS allows very good interaction with the OpenStreetMap data. Using this in the QGIS itself, it is there is a functionality of downloading the data from the OpenStreetMap. So the option is inside the vector. There is an OpenStreetMap menu. Inside it, there is an option of download data. So using this, you have an option of whether you want to download based on the layer extent, or whether on the map canvas extent, or you can define your own manual extent. Here I'm showing the example that I have taken the case of a Dehradun, where all the data from the OpenStreetMap I'm able to visualize and download onto my QGIS canvas. So you get not only the polygon layers, but lines, point, all the information that is available along with the attributes that are available in the OpenStreetMap. You can download and then you can integrate into the QGIS. So it is generally the format is OSM, but if you add, all the individual layers will also be visible. The other thing that this QGIS provide is you can also interact with the spatial database. Here I'm taking an example of a Postgres and PostGIS. So if you have your backend database, maybe in the internet, then you can connect to the use QGIS as a front end client, and you can connect to connect to your QGIS. Your PostGIS database, and then you can perform the query or also visualize the data that is stored remotely. So for that, you need to provide the database credentials. Once the credential is entered, you can connect to it and you can view all the layers that you can query also. The other things in QGIS is a concept of just like there's a concept of bookmarking in your HTML pages, there is also a concept of spatial bookmarking. So this tool is quite useful. Suppose you visit a particular area of your map quite often. So instead of every time closing and opening the QGIS and zooming to that location, you can create your bookmark. So every time you open, you can click on this button, it will automatically zoom to that particular location. So you don't need to manually zoom in and zoom out to that particular location in which you are working. So just like you bookmark your favorite web pages, we can bookmark different section of the page, and you can straight away zoom to that location instead of manually zooming to that particular location. Talking about the raster dataset, QGIS also provides support for adding and also viewing and manipulating the different raster dataset using the GDAL library. It allows you to read and write the different raster data formats. Again, the option is layer. You click on the add layer and add raster layer. Again, all the OGRs all the GDAL supported raster file formats are supported, and you can add any layer. Even raster based operations are also possible. You can see on this menu I'm showing. So georeferencing will be covered. It will be covered later. So georeferencing you can do, even interpolation, zonal statistics, even your DEM based operations are also possible in this QGIS. The other thing about this QGIS is you can also create a good compose your maps. So there is a concept of print composer utilities available in QGIS. Using this, you can compose and make beautiful maps that you can put in your reports and other things. All the elements, suppose if I talk about labels, annotations, scale bars, and north arrows and tables, etc., can also be integrated into this layout view. That layout then you can print it and export to PDF, so to put it into different reports and other things. Sorry. Okay, so layout you can also do using this QGIS interface. Now to compose your map, so first what you need to do is you need to load your raster or vector layer into QGIS, do the necessary properties manipulation like symbology, labeling, etc. Once you are done with it, then you need to click on the option called project, new print composer, or you can also choose this option from the toolbar. Then afterwards you will be prompted to enter the title for the new composer. You can enter a particular title for the composer. After entering this, a blank window like this will come with a complete blank canvas. And later you can add, clicking on the layout menu, you can add the north arrow, you can add the map, map, scale bar, your legends, etc. Other thing you can control is you can define your size, what kind of paper size you want, the width and the height, whether it is landscape or portrait or color. Even the DPI you can set for what kind of export resolution you want. So now next, if you want to add a map to it, you go to the layer, say add map can add to map canvas, and you need to drag a rectangle, and then the map, whatever the scale you have defined in the QGIS map canvas, the same scale will be appearing into this, and this the same map on that scale will be appearing in this map canvas as I'm shown in the uh, and next, then you can, as I said earlier, so adding it to the current QGIS map, you need to click on add new map or select layout, add new map option, drag a rectangle onto the canvas with the left mouse button, and when you release it, the map on the base, whatever extent was the scale was there on the QGIS main map canvas, will be appearing into this window. Later you can also add the title, the legend, the scale bar. You can add your grids and everything. Once the layout is okay, you can export your map either in the form of a JPG or a PDF. So this is what I was mentioning earlier. So you can make a map like this. On the center is your the image of the India shapefile, and the top you can add the title, you can add the north arrow, and also you can add the legend and the scale bar. All the aspects of the layout you can add into this in the QGIS in the map composer. Other thing is there is also a history toolbar here, so you can go back and forth, you can do undo and redo the different layout settings that you have done. Even you can click on a particular elements and then click on the item description, item properties, and manipulate their properties. For example, different not pass symbol, different font style for the text area. You can export your map in the form of an image also as a SVG scalable vector graphic, or you can also export as a PDF file. This you can put into your reports, or you can publish it for the different papers. Now in this window, I want to emphasize that there is also an option of saving the paths. I not only as an absolute path where it is C drive, this and this, because the problem is if you open the project file, which in the QGIS is .qgs. So just like in ESRI ArcMap, you have a .mxt file. In QGIS, we have a .qgs file. So you setting this option in the layer in the project properties, setting the path as relative will make your life easier in case you are moving the data from one location to another, because instead of absolute path saying C drive this or D drive, because on other machine it is possible that the same drive may not be there, but if you use a relative path with reference to your project directory, if you give that path, and even if you copy the whole QGIS, the quantum GI and the QGIS project file along with the data, and this since it is a relative path is mentioned, it will work without any changing in the project file. Okay, now coming to the concept of plugins. So as I mentioned, that QGIS extend the functionality through the concept of plugins. Now plugins can be written either in C++, or it can be done in Python. To access the plugin window, you need to click on plugins, main menu, and then click on the manage and install plugins. If you make sure that you are connected to the internet, because it connects to the repository or plugin repository of QGIS, and then fetch all the plugins and show it on your window. The one with the cross are already installed, and one which are not cross are you can select and install it. Even there is a search window here. You can, if you're looking for some tool, for example georeferencer, then you can type georeference, and all the things related to georeference will be appearing on this shortlisted and appearing in this below window. So you can do a selection based on the keyword search also. Now QGIS, as I mentioned, can also be served as a as client for the various OGC services, whether OGC WMS or WFS. So this is readily available in QGIS for a very long time now. So if you want to connect, so first you need to establish a connection to your OGC server. So you click on new, provide the get capabilities URL of that link, and you can connect and access, add that OGC compliant layer also to your QGIS canvas. Other plugin that is available is called as a SPIT plugin. It's called a shapefile to PostGIS import tool. This is a very good tool. Those who are working in PostGIS, this allows you to import your shapefile into a PostGIS database. To how to get started is, first you need to make a connection to your PostGIS database by providing the different credentials, which in this case will be the name of the the host name where the server PostGIS server will be there. It can be either a domain name or it can be a URL, then the username, the port number, the username and the password provided by the and then the database name. So once you establish a connection, once your connection is established, then you can use this tool and you can export the shapefile and then dump it into the PostGIS database. So using this tool, you can also export the shapefile to the PostGIS database. So once your connection is done, then you need to select the file name. So click on the add, select the shapefile name. Next, you need to specify what will be the name of the geometry column, what will be the projection which is specified using the SRIT, Spatial Reference Identifier, and name of the geometry column, and the primary key column, which generally we give as an ID or a GID. Now this QGIS processing framework is quite new, come from the version 2 itself, and then it enables you to call the native as well as the third-party algorithm that you can access from the QGIS. So all the functionality, whether it is native QGIS or from GRASS or from Saga, are all available using this processing framework. So access this processing framework, you click on the processing menu and click on the toolbox option. So on the right hand side here, I'm showing the processing toolbox window. This is advanced interface. In simple interface will have 3 options, but advanced interface will show that there's a GDAL library, then there's a modeler information, and the sample script. The other thing that is also available in the QGIS is a graphical model builder is also available. Just like if we take analogy of ESRI, ArcGIS, model maker. So similarly, you also have a graphical modeler where you can define the different parameters. You can drag and drop the various algorithms, and you can make your typical workflow so as to, if you are performing some task in batch processing or want to execute the same thing again and again, you can use a typical graphical modeler. You just need to interconnect the different workflow, different elements, the output of one to the input of another, and you can export it as a model. The extension is .model, and then you can run it in one go for the n number of different data types and different files. So like this, you can also have a graphical modeler where you don't need to understand what all algorithms are there. You just need to use a classic drag and drop functionality where you can make a typical workflow all using the drag and drop by defining the various algorithm that you can select from the below this tab on the algorithms. Other good plugin that you have got is from OpenGeo Explorer plugin. Now OpenGeo is replaced as a boundless geo. What this plugin does, it allows you to interact directly from the QGIS interface to your geo server if you're working on a various web mapping applications. So right from the QGIS interface itself, you can directly publish the layer to the geo server. You can create the style, you can create different workspaces, you can create layers, you can create layer groups and etc., all using the QGIS interface itself. So you don't need to move to the geo server admin panel for creating the workspace, catalog, or publishing a layer. Right from the QGIS, you can add your layer, you can compose whatever you want, you symbolize, and then you can choose this plugin and you can export this QGIS layer directly into the geo server and can publish in one go. This is again similar to your ArcMap kind of an interface where you can directly publish to the ArcGIS server. So like this plugin is quite useful. Another plugin that is also useful is the EVIS plugin. Now it allows you to link the photographs and the supporting document to the vector data. Here I'm showing the case. Suppose you have your point layers, you have geotag photos, suppose you have got. So you can even link your photographs to the point layer. You need to provide the folder location and the attribute should contain the full folder path, and you can specify the folder location, and then when you click on a particular point, it can be polygon, the associated photograph can also be viewed using this EVIS kind of a plugin. Okay, now talking about some useful links. So what I have provided you is I provided you the software, which is both bit and 64-bit, along with the documentation. But there are other useful links. For example, those who generally work in new software will generally say, where is this tool in this software. So there is a this the first link is how to do that in QGIS. This generally talks about what are the where are the various options with the reference to ArcGIS that are available in QGIS. So suppose somebody say where is zonal statistics option in QGIS. So this website contain all the documentation on that. So other very good link is from Ujjwal Gandhi, this qgistutorials.com. You please visit it. It contains very step-by-step exercise on all the various features of a quantum GIS software. Even those who want to read from the book, there is also a book on from quantum GIS called Learning QGIS 2.0 by Anita Gracer. So these are the various resources, but the best way to study, as I said, is the original documentation that you can take it from the quantum GIS manual itself. That is the best guide. But those who want looking for a book kind of thing, then you can use this Learning QGIS by Anita Gracer. And those who are looking for tutorials, please visit this qgistutorials.com by Ujjwal Gandhi. So it is quite good. Most of the aspects of quantum GIS functionality are covered, so please refer to them. Thanks you for your